start out with telling me a little bit about STAKELAND?
Kind of our vision of if a vampire plague was to crop up tomorrow,
Okay.
and then allowed to kind of run rampant for about a year and a half, 2 years, where we'd be.
You play Martin, the young boy who's trying to just stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
And so tell me a little bit more about your character.
Martin is a young boy of nondescript age, but we can put him anywhere between kind of 15 and 19.
Okay.
And he's thrust into this world pretty head first when his parents are dispatched very early on, and he's rescued by Mr. He's played by Nick D'Amici, who also co-wrote the film, and kind of has no choice but to follow this guy around because he's dead in a heartbeat without this guy. So he nips at his heels like a little lapdog, trying to pick up as much as he can, and really every day, they're running and they're trying to get up north,
Right.
up to Canada basically, but what they do every night is they go out looking for these things and they go out hunting, and that's what Mr. does. So they're constantly putting themselves in a situation where they could both die.
What did you have to do to prepare for this role?
There are a couple things. It's a role with very little dialogue. Martin barely speaks, and there's not much talking in the film in general, but Martin's really a very silent character. So what I did is I spent most of my time just listening to Nick, to Jim, our director, to my other actors, to Kelly, to Danielle, to Sean, to Michael, and just you know, when you shut up, you really learn a lot,
Yeah.
and most people don't ever. I don't. I'm from New York. I never stop talking. So it was interesting for me to really, honestly, be quiet for a month, we did some physical training. Nick is a very accomplished kickboxer, karate instructor, so he and I went to the gym every day, and we kind of developed our own form of steak fu.
Yeah.
And kind of built a whole martial art around fighting vampires. And then Nick was camping out during the kind of summer half of the film portion, because we shot in 2 segments, kind of a summer and a winter section, and he was living out in the woods, so I lived out with him for about a week and a half before I ran
Obviously
back
by
to
choice.
the trailers. Yeah.
So what was, did he just like living out in the woods, or did it help him get into the character?
Yeah, I think Nick is a bit of a woodsman as it is. I mean, when I got down there, he'd been down at set for about, I think, a week or so already, and he had a whole tent village set up,
Wow.
complete with a dummy that he'd had tied to a tree so that we could practice archery and
Nice.
staking. So he's good at that stuff. I think he really enjoys it, and you know, it's if you're dealing with characters who haven't had the opportunity to shower in maybe a month,
Right.
that's not a small thing for actors. And you know, we're naturally fastidious people, and I grew up in the city, and
Right.
not bathing and not really taking care of yourself and not looking in a mirror for 3 weeks is not something I'm used to. So it was
Sure.
really cool to get away from that stuff and just kind of be like, look, I'm living, and I
Wow.
don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, that was totally cool. Like, you're used to talking, you were quiet, you weren't
Just-
showering.
just-
I mean, that's awesome. Most people, especially because we're at the CW, we know you from Gossip Girl. So, which is more of, you know, definitely a light drama. How is
Sure.
it different doing a movie like this versus a lighter drama like Gossip Girl?
I think that, you know, as much as you can throw yourself headlong into any role you want, you really can just go for it. But when you're doing television, when you're doing a light drama, as you said, you do have to go home at the end of the day.
Right.
And you are dealing with the world you've created on a daily basis, because people watch the show, people comment on the show, and it's becomes part of your everyday life. When you do a film like this, you don't have to deal with what you're producing. You just go into it and you put out what you put out, but we're secluded in the middle of the woods, you know,
Right.
with the cast and the crew, and if you're going nuts, that's the only people that have to deal with it. But when you're working on a show, you got to go home every day,
Right.
and you got to deal with your friends and loved ones, and
Right.
you can't be completely insane.
Well, so what's more challenging, doing something like STAKELAND or Gossip Girl?
I think there are varying degrees of difficulty. I think you could look at it on the surface and say, well, the film is more challenging because it requires, you know, 24/7 commitment. But at the same time, television requires you carrying a character through maybe for 4 years, as we've been doing it, and staying true to that, and to remember that and keep coming back to that. So they both have their difficulties. You know, film is, I think, ultimately just because you have to keep it going
Right.
for that time period. Whereas television, you get a bit of a break.
Yeah. So, kind of, what's next for you? Are you planning to do you hope to do more films? Would you like to stay in television?
I
Just
really,
do both?
I really enjoy as much as work as I can pile on.
Sure.
So I'm someday. We screen tonight, and then I've got press all day tomorrow, and then I got to get on a plane and fly back because I got to shoot at 5 o'clock in the morning on Monday, and that's what I love.
Right.
That's really what makes me happy is being on insane schedules like that. So as long as I can keep myself stressed and out of my skull, I'm a happy guy.
Okay, so one more thing before we wrap it up. What are you looking forward to doing in Austin? Over here, he has a hat. Bring it out. Bring it out.
Well,
He
I
is
got
ready.
this,
He is...
I got this yesterday, and
Oh.
I went into the hat store. I was with Nick, and I just kept putting these hats on. I was like, they're all so big. He's like, man, that is the point.
Right.
And once that clicked, I put this on. I fell in love with it, and now I feel like I can kind of pass for a Texan.
It looks great on you.
Well, thank you.
You walked by and I was like, wait a minute. That's not who we're supposed to be. I was like, he is a Texas boy. It's got some longhorns on it.
I tried.
So today, you're going to make it a point to...
We've got skeet shooting planned. We've got hopefully a barbecue tour planned. We're trying to work our interviews and stuff around the fact that we do want to go skeet shooting.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you get some time to explore Austin and the fun
Absolutely.
things we have to offer here. So we're so happy to get to talk to you.
Thank you so much.
Don't miss it. STAKELAND. When does it open in theaters?
And in wide release?
Yes,
I
wide
don't
release.
know.
Well, you can catch STAKELAND during Fantastic Fest and look for it opening in theaters soon.